Who we got? We got Buddy right in the front here. Lovely sweater you got there, Buddy. Loving it. Excellent.
My grandmother hand knitted it.
That.
Oh, right.
Was that in or in?
Nah.
Lovely. Love it. Fantastic. This is a great crowd. Frederick, I love your shirt. That's a Hawaii shirt. I'm going to have to go and find that one. I might borrow that. Lovely. Wonderful. We got a great crowd here in early, loving this. Okay, well, we've got a couple of minutes to go. Where you guys are all from. Let me ask if you're from Europe. Here from Europe.
Debatable.
Yeah, nice crowd from Europe. Wonderful.
Debatable.
Debatable, all right. Okay, lovely. Anybody here from, let's split it into Canada and America. Canada, give me claps from Canada. Anybody from Canada with claps?
Right.
Lovely, it always works well for your time zone. Great stuff up there. Lovely. Okay, anybody from the United States of America? Come on, you gotta have more than that. There you go. There you go. This is slap bang in your time zone. Lovely. Okay, anybody from Africa? We have guests sometimes from Africa. Give me some smiles if you're from any of the African countries. Yeah, wonderful, right here. Hassan, lovely to see you, Hassan. Okay, anyone United Arab Emirates, although it's a bit late, people there, they have a lot of tech going on. There's nobody from there. Okay, anybody from any other country? Maybe South America? Lance, where are you from, Lance? Oh, fantastic, Istanbul. Lovely. That's good. Someone. Lovely. That's commitment from you. Thank you very much. Okay, anyone from any? Give me some love. All right, Nayla, where are you from, Nayla?
I'm from a really small island called Bahrain.
Bahrain, fantastic. This is the first Bahraini that I am as a visitor here. Welcome. And at the back, Pensta. Where are you from, Pensta? Oh, that's the I'll give you some phone there. Let me find you. Or let me come up and find out where are you from very quickly here. Tell me again, where are you from? Australia. Wonderful. What time is it in Australia? Oh, that's dedication. You get brownie points. Lovely. So, think off, and we're super excited today. Before we get to the main event, just going to say a couple of words about Educators in VR for those of you who maybe don't know us yet. We've been going for about 18 months. We run virtual events on AltSpace, but loving we run virtual events. We have a growing community. If you're not members of our Discord channel, please find our Discord channel. We have a thriving community there of people, grassroots community, players from all around. Just going to mute everyone for a minute. And yeah, we bring educators, teachers, trainers, researchers together, and students. We have a big event coming up soon. More about that later. But welcome here to join us. And today we are super excited that our partnership with the Virtual World Society and Tom and his team here today is taking a new step, and that is that we are bringing them into VR and launching their presence in VR. They're going to be having this is their launch event today, and then ongoing events. So you will be seeing more of the Virtual World Society and their team and their speakers, but I'll let Tom tell you more details about that later on. Yeah, I mean, we've been friends with Tom for about a year now. We've been having several discussions, and recently things have speeded up and hotted up, and we're joined at the hip now We kind of extend each other's work in different directions. Tom will be explaining a little bit more about their work, and we're very much in the education and training camp. But our visions and our values overlap so much that we agreed that we need to, we're stronger together. So I'm super excited about that, and super excited that you guys are going to be here and maybe on other platforms more from today onwards. Lovely. Okay, let me then just say a few words about Tom as well. Just a moment. Now I had this all ready. This is a little, where are we? I apologize about this. I had this all lined up. There we go. Okay. Sorry about that, Tom. So, I've got it.
I'm going to give you a hug first.
I'm right here with it. Okay, yeah, all right, give me a hug. Lovely. Excellent. So, introducing Dr. Tom Furness. Dr. Tom Furness, for those of you who don't know him yet, you will shortly. He is a virtual reality pioneer and inventor who has earned the title of Godfather of Virtual Reality for a very good reason, as you're about to find out. He's a professor in the University of Washington Department of Industrial and Systems Engineering, and the founder of the Human Interface Technology Lab at the University of Washington and its sister labs in the University of Canterbury and the University of Tasmania. He is known for his contributions developing virtual interface technology and its applications in education, training, medicine, design, and entertainment. He and his students and colleagues have spun off 27 companies in the immersive computing space. He's also the general manager and owner of the RAT Lab, which is the Rocking and Thinking Laboratory, and the founder of the Virtual World Society. And not only all of that, but he is one of the most wonderful human beings you are going to meet. And we could not be more excited than having you welcome you as a member. And before I hand over to you, Tom, I'm going to sneak something on you here. Everybody get ready. It was Tom's 77th birthday yesterday, Tom, was it?
Audio.
Was it?
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm going to give everybody audios, and we're going to sing happy birthday to you, Tom. You
Oh,
ready?
gosh. Is this
All
the
right.
first time in
I'm not sure, but it's the first time for us. Here we go. On the count of three. 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Tom. Happy birthday to you.
Oh, wow.
Let's give some hearts.
So
There you go.
neat.
Smiles and hearts.
That's
Fantastic. Lovely.
I love you guys.
I snuck that up on you,
You
to the chair,
did.
Tom. Wonderful. Thank you very much.
This is the first.
All right,
isn't it?
well,
Happy birthday and
I think it's
yeah.
probably a first. I think it probably is
Yeah.
right there for you, Tom, as it should be. All right, with you, enough from me. Tom, over to you, please. Take it
Okay,
away,
thanks
my
so
friend.
much. Thank you, Dan.
All right, all right.
Thanks, everyone. It's so wonderful to be here with you and to have this opportunity to have some fun and talk about the things that we love the most and about what the Virtual World Society is trying to do is your society and your and just being on these things. So we have live to show. We're going to introduce a few other folks from the as we go along, but the main thing we wanted to through all those things, so we can hear from you and especially how Virtual World Society, which you want to do. This slide, Donna's going to sort of let us go to the next slide. An idea of what. We've got the first, of course, educators and VR people, and such a statement, haven't they all? And bringing together all of us, and just a short period of time, and they are now the masters and wizards of doing these kinds of gatherings. And thank you for bringing us to do this, Dan and Donna and others. who are in today and have in the past. Next slide, I want to talk about a few topics about my journey, especially how it sort of led to society, and to tell you a little bit about what we're trying to do, some things like that. It's months that are going to be exciting, we think. So let's go to the next slide and a little bit about sort of a VR journey. Now, I say a VR, not the VR journey, because there are lots of VR journeys here. This so happened, mine started probably a little bit earlier than yours in 1966 when I started working on VR. And it's taken me all kinds of interesting places, as yours will be taking. Next slide. This is sort of a complicated, it is sort of a tells you where I started. I showed some of the in talks given at that meeting. But my job working on the fighter job was to figure out how to get one pilot hooked to 50 computers on board high performance military aircraft. And it was clear that we were going to get there existing technology. So in the process, I started working on how we could size and couple our heads and the end of this aircraft and get higher bandwidth. So you see here Furness wearing the very first display and the third tracking system. I guess putting those together in a virtual reality to fly airplanes in reality, as well as to learn and train. Next slide. So this is sort of whole trajectory of, as you see here in this, once it comes up. So Donna, I have the next slide.
I think so. There we go.
Okay, I don't know if you can see all of this stuff, but there are lots of things going on here. So here's the blast I showed you before at the very beginning at the top. Go on, you see the first 1966, 1969 time period. Then we started together in 71 and creating fast forward to another 10. And we go to the what is called the VCAS. It's called my Darth Vader helmet. We created an amazing VR. It had vision, 3D sound, and 3D tactic, eye position, and all these kinds of things into this. And this became the IMAX theater. And it was completely interactive, and we were all these things and proving them in the laboratory. Then after that, to back up the last slide, you see several things happen along the way. After that, we had left the military, and after 23 years, and started becoming the University of Washington. And that led to the HIT lab, the Human Interface Technology Lab. As mentioned, we have now a couple other labs in New Zealand. And from that, things started taking off in terms of the world, what was going on. So you see here in 92, this is a movie called, I'm going to come back to that in a minute. Some school children early in 93. The first commercial consumer virtual display, virtual vision, one of my patents. Then the virtual retinal display, another patent. It was directed on the retina in the eye. We got into the pain, the Starship, where is a training tool for actually flies a Starship in '98. Then up with augmented reality, started a company called AR Toolkit. We got into the pain. VR is great for pain. Started working on that. Virtual World Society thing, you see that's happening here. And then Palmer Lucky, I'll get back another virtual reality thing here. And then tools and a lot's happening there. And we're still going. And Yeah, I'm 77, but dead yet. And I'm going to try to burn as long as I can and keep with you guys because this is so much fun, right? Okay, so now what I want to talk a little bit about is the Virtual World Society. You see, it happens in a piece. There's actually one missing here. This image here in '92 is Lawnmower Man. Anybody hear of the movie Lawnmower Man? It's before your time, and it's sort of a cult thing now. But Lawnmower Man was this movie. The first movie, it was out about virtual reality. And I was actually asked to be a technical advisor on this movie. The director approached me and said, would you help us with this? And he sent me a script, and I read the script for the movie, and I said, oh gosh, this is horrible. But because what it's going to do is give an entirely different dark side of what VR is. And this will be the first public exposure to what VR is, and it's wonderful. We know the power of it for education and all these kinds of things. So I decided at that time, the best defense is a good offense. So I actually started the first Virtual World Society in 1993, right after this, and organized hundreds of kids that would be a part of this in order for them to show how wonderful it is for education and things like that. So we started the society, we had members, we had some money, it was a 501c3 charity, but it was clear we were way too soon because nobody had it. I mean, it cost $500 to get a cellular graphics machine. So we decided to put it on the back burner for a while and revisit it later on. So we came up in '95 and started looking at it again. We said, okay, now there's some new technologies that's coming a little better, but still no install. And we were doing things in vertical markets and education and medicine and things like that, and proving it, but still, from a consumer standpoint. So we put it back to sleep and incubate, and then guess what happened? 2012, there's actually 2010, we looked at it again. 2010, I had my friend Doug Trumbull, who did this for 2001, A Space Odyssey, Blade Runner, Brainstorm, Close Encounters. He's the one that did all the special effects of that in Hollywood, Canada, and he actually joined us and how we could do with this virtual reality. And we even wrote a script for a feature-length movie that would be about some kids, some throwaway kids it's a true story. We'd worked with throwaway kids that had been cast out of school, and they were just a nuisance to society, but for carrying drugs and weapons and things like that. And these throwaway kids, we were asked to do a project with them, and we did, and it was revolutionary what happened to them. And they invited by the school district to go in and teach about HIV and using it in a game that they built in virtual reality. And so we wrote a feature-length movie on that. But then again, it was still too early. Elmer Lucky comes along and basically reinvents what he had better technology to work with, where the Oculus came from. And you know the Oculus Rift, and Facebook, and all that. So we decided in 2015 it was time to do it again. It's stuck. And, you know, it's been quite a journey to get where we actually have a viable virtual world society. Okay, next slide. And probably this, yeah, about that. Now the slide after that. All right, so one of the things about the virtual world society is our logo up here in the top left. And it's actually of an adult sort of holding up. And this is what the society is all about. It's about people, and especially lifting our youth, because we really need to have both. We need to have the adults that have the wisdom, that are looking to the past. You see the adult is looking in a different direction than the child is now raised up. And the child now is looking to the future. And it says to the child, what do you see? Because the child will have the ability to see things the adult can't. So they actually inform each other. It's the connection of the cross-generational. And we need to have it all. It's not all about the kids, not at all about the adult. It's all of us together. Okay, so we want to be basically the heart. And so we want to be that conscience that leads the technology. Next slide. Well, that leads us to our basically our mission. We want to unlock minds and link hearts in order to lift humanity. Next slide. So we have a bunch of projects. Now I'm only going to be able to talk about a few of them, and then we're going to have a little more specificity on just a subset of them, but lots of wonderful problems. DGs dealing with maker spaces and hackathons and around the world, and helping communities who are American and Hispanic community with each other for many years in Chicago to get back. We're supporting Kent By and his Voices of VR activity and so forth. Let's go to the next slide. There are a few of the projects that I would like to mention, and as we go into subsequent fires, talking in more detail about the others. The Mercy Corps was, and the Rosas just mentioned. We're doing projects at Canadian Eagle Staff Middle School. This has become our laboratory out, new concepts on how to involve kids, building their own virtual worlds to teach kids subjects having to do science and physics and things like that. And now getting into other disciplines as well. We have a reality community that's coming together in the Discord channel and about in subsequent meetings, but you may say it today. And a reading room where we want to have 100 or up to 1,000 families around the world that will actually be in field laboratories, test receptive, using VR in the home, and how they would link to each other, and how they would look at how to solve problems around the world, pervasive problems. And then Make-A-Wish Foundation project. Next slide. Do now is invite Matt Cook up to the Matt. Did you pop up here, please?
Hey, Tom.
Hey, Matt. Colleague Matt Cook.
Yeah.
Do you have your microphone on?
Yay.
I think, yes, looks like it.
Okay, good. And he a handsome guy? He's a youngster, but he's still cute, isn't he? Yeah.
You can't see my cheeks blush.
Okay, I'm going to get behind you, and you tell us about what's going on with the Make-A-Wish Foundation.
So, my name's Matt, and I am the Virtual World Society's project, working on, just all sorts of different going on. One of which is with the Washington chapter of the Make-A-Wish Foundation. So we reached out to them, like, hey, have you done anything with virtual reality? Just a cold call. We had no idea. How they did have interest, and spoken to lots of different companies about building some VR wishes for kids. But the discussion is always, everyone's always interested in building in VR wishes for kids. It's an amazing project, and it gives feel goods. But it always came to a stall. The $100,000 price tag to build an experience comes into play. That's where we've been able to, get around that nonprofit with our membership, to be able to do this for less. So we went to them and we purchased a number of different ways we mutually helped them out. We could curate existing content for common wishes. We could build just general wish experience, common wishes like going to or being a superhero or being a secret agent or whatever it is, and expand the number of wishes that can be granted. Because for one of the big problems Make-A-Wish has is that there's so many kids on their wish list. I think they say they've got enough kids waiting for wishes just in Washington and Alaska to fill 7 school buses. Is that what they
Yes.
said, Tom?
Mhm.
Yeah, so that's like 500 kids just waiting to build VR wishes to expand the number of wishes and decrease the eligibility requirements. We could do so much for so many different. And that's ultimately where we're trying to go. But when they came back to us was like, hey, this sounds great. You know what? We've got 2 wish experiences already that have wishes that perfectly align themselves with. So one of which is for a kid to be a superhero. And he's got very specific requirements. He knows exactly blow by blow what he wants this wish to be. He wants to be a superhero. He wants to use his gray sword and his purple shield to battle in the streets of Seattle. And you can see here in this bottom picture, you can see the robot, and they're in this Seattle Center at the fountain. I don't know if you can tell. You can see the Space Needle there in the background. And these robots have built a volcano, and he needs to battle the robots, and eventually the big robot there comes out, at which point he throws dynamite at it. And he wants the robots to be knocked into traffic and be hit by cars, and that car is going to knock the heat shielding off of the robot, at which point he throws one more piece of dynamite at it, which makes it blow up and go flying into the volcano, where he then gets to push it into the lava. He's very excited about this, and he wants all of this to happen. The other wish is a lot less defined. The kid wants to be a ninja, and he's going to go through ninja training in real life all day, at which point he will go into VR, where he has his ninja outfit and his sword, and battles 6 green monsters. And he wants to do this with his grandfather as well, because he's a shy kid, 5 years old. His grandpa just is close to him and helps him, come out of his shell. So it's important that we include him as well. But that's what we have going on with Make-A-Wish, and so those experiences are underway. We're working with amazing teams with Seattle's Interactive Entertainment. They're working on the Robot Wish, so that school, their students created all of that you see there. And you can see the team up at the top right at the Academy of Interactive Entertainment. We're also working with the University of Washington's lab on the other wish. So great teams working on this with.
Okay, Matt mentioned who the picture is on the left.
Oh, that would be Price, first wish kid. We invited him over to our lab so he could try out some VR. VR is not typically designed for 6-year-olds. They say 13 and up. So we're concerned about his ability to wear the headset. How well could he see? How well can he's got a highly interactive experience he's designed for himself. We wanted to see how well can he do sword slashing mechanics, how well can he pick up objects and throw them, how well can he functions and go through the user interface. I've seen adults struggle with all of that stuff, so we had no idea what a 6-year-old could do. So we invite him over, get him trained up, and just kind of learn from him. And it was just incredible. At first, he was so scared to go into VR. His mom was there, and he got so nervous. He started like, I don't want to do it. No, I don't want to. And then we had him watch me go in, and he got to be at the bottom of the ocean, meet a whale, and after that, he perked right up. So full of life, so full of energy. Honestly, if I didn't know he was with Make-A-Wish Foundation, I'd say he's faking it. He's a little liar, but no, he's actually he's actually not in. I'm gonna end on the high note actually before I start crying.
Thanks, Matt. That's wonderful. Doing a great job. And the kids love Matt too, by the way.
What a great project! What a fantastic project!
And you'll be hearing more about that as we go along. So next slide, please. And let's invite up Jackie Moray. Dr. Jackie Moray is one of our board members of Virtual World Society. And Jackie's going to tell us something about what's going on with our Nextant Prize. And she asked me to introduce what we mean by Nextant. It turns out we're in this high C state. We have a problem now, of course, there's so much chaos going on, and that we can't use our standard navigation. Our compasses don't work anymore. It turns out that it helps us navigate by shooting the stars, the location of the star. We can't use these instruments anymore. We can't find. It's very difficult when we can't see them anymore, and when things are clouded over. But what we need is a new navigation tool. We need a new sextant. We need the next sextant. And that's where it comes from. The nextant is a term that we made up. Next sextant, which is our new navigation system. And our new navigation is our hearts. Our hearts will tell us what to do and where to go, and we will know what to do. So Jackie, with that, tell us about the Nextant Prize.
So this was a great idea that Tom had.
Put on your megaphone, please.
You need to click megaphone, please.
Sorry. Controllers, so my controllers have disappeared. Oh, they really have. Sorry about that. Okay, megaphone. Okay?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So we wanted to recognize people who embodied the spirit of the Virtual World Society and this idea of the next thing that we would navigate the future by. And so in 2020, the first Nextant Award was given to Randy Pausch in memoriam. Had done amazing things for virtual reality, at Carnegie Mellon, getting the arts and the sciences to training generations of students who were able to really wonderful virtual reality experiences. So Randy Pausch was our first Nextant Prize awardee. We really were a lot of different areas that we could have people in. The Legacy Prize, of course, which Tom would have been eligible for if he hadn't started the virtual reality. But a number of people that maybe you don't even know about because they were in the first or second or not in this latest wave of VR. We wanted to recognize people that were young and people that were maybe under 17 that were doing things, and that became the Spirit Prize. Rising Star Prize was sort of the next age level. People are just starting their careers and are also doing things. So in 2017, we awarded a legacy to Brenda Laurel, and if you don't know Brenda Laurel's work, her up. And then in the following year, we gave out legacy prizes, one to Nani Dila, you've probably heard of her, and one to Mark Bolas. And you haven't heard of Mark. He's worked in VR since the 80s. He did a lot of work building equipment for NASA way back then. He's had a VR lab for years. It was that lab that Palmer Luckey was interning in when he came up with the Oculus headset. So that was 2016, 2017, 2018. Last year, we gave several awards. We gave C Prize awards to Kathy Bisbee. Mm-hmm. Yes, I have to remember. Last year there were quite a few awards given. So to taking on the gentleman's name from Japan, who Teriyama, who headed up the Canon Lab, doing a lot of great work in augmented reality. They also had a Rising Star Prize. The charity received that prize, and the Spirit Prize awarded to Ryan Daniels, who was a 16-year-old who's been doing VR, composing music and doing all kinds of things to train people and how to make VR themselves. We are going to be giving out new awards this year. We will be announcing them at the AW conference, so stay tuned for that. Some more incredible people that you should know. These prizes are honoring some of the most amazing people out there. So go look at the website and get to know these people, because they are the luminaries of virtual reality, and we're honored to be able to recognize them with the Nextant Award.
Thank you, Jack.
That's, yeah.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
So the next prize, you'll be hearing more about these and what we're doing with the whole Nextant theme. Next slide, please. So I'd like to go ahead and invite up, if we could have Eva. Eva Hirth is our Director of Communications at the Virtual World Society, and we can bring up the next slide, please. And maybe the next, well, let's see, we're going to make some exciting announcements now, I guess. So you just stay here, okay, Eva, don't go anywhere.
All right, I'll do it.
Okay, some exciting announcements. Next slide. The first big announcement we're making is there is a betrothal, there is a marriage that's taking place. We are now, in love. We're even smooching. And so there's a marriage that is taking place between Educators in VR and the Virtual World Society. Part of that partnership is that we basically not only embracing each other, but we're sharing memberships. And so if you're engaged with Educators in VR, you're automatically engaged with the Virtual World Society, and vice versa, Virtual World Society, Educators in VR. And this is a beautiful thing, right?
Absolutely.
Beautiful thing, because what we have is a way to expand our sphere of influence. And the Virtual World Society is a 501c nonprofit charity, whereas the what you see in Educators in VR is also a operates sort of as a nonprofit, but it can do for-profit work as well.
Yeah.
And that's the combination gives us a lot of stuff that we can do. So we're excited about this, and we'll be working together from here on out and having a great time. Next announcement. Next announcement is has to do with what's going to happen with our let's see, what did I put up next? I think it's about about the firesides. This fireside is going to be bi-weekly. We're going to spend an hour every other week talking about the activities of Virtual World Society, bringing in excellent pioneers and speakers, the Nextant Prize winners, the thematic people. We'll be talking about the manifesto, and generally having a good discussion with our friends and colleagues, about these kinds of things. So look forward to the fireside chats. They will be every Tuesday at 1:30, or every other Tuesday at 1:30. And we want to set
Tom?
that time.
If we weren't already married at the hip now, I would just be so excited just about the fact that the Virtual World Society and you guys are going to be here regularly.
Yes.
That for me is huge. That
Wonderful.
for me is huge, to know that you're going to be here and people can meet you in here and approach you, and you have that kind of presence now. So excited.
I am so excited too, because this gives us a connection to many of you who we wouldn't have otherwise. And that's one of the miracles that's happened here with Virtual World, with our virtual world now, virtual reality. Okay, the next slide is about another big announcement, is that we're going to have our own World Conference.
Oh yeah.
The Virtual World Society World Conference
Yes.
And this is going to be sort of juxtaposed to what the educators in VR are doing. We sort of have it's almost a, every 6 month kind of thing. And so we'll be doing this and covering lots of areas and we'll be looking forward to having you as speakers and to participate and certainly come to it. And that'll be during this period of October the 20th to the 24th. And it'll be awesome. And
yes.
again, we'll probably be reaching out to you to get ideas of what you'd like to see happen at that meeting.
It gives us 5 or 6 months to get really busy and do all kinds of wonderful things. By the time it comes on, we're going to go beyond what's been done before. We're going to, go big, but also go special and deep. Yeah. Lovely.
Yeah. Big and deep. These are good guys. I mean, we'll be having the real influencers that we've seen emerge through the summit meeting and emerge in the work that we've been doing. So it'll be so fun, and it's going to be, we're all together in this, and we'll swap our juices and our brains and our hearts and all these kinds of things and doing that.
Absolutely.
Okay, next slide.
Just one thing. Key is also the involvement of the community. So you guys, when we're saying we're putting on this conference, we're putting it on with you, for you.
Yes.
It's about the family again. About the pride,
it's family. And by the way, this fireside we call the Virtual World Society Family Fireside.
Yeah.
Because we consider ourselves as family. We're citizens of the earth, and we love each other, and we love the work we're doing, and we care about kids, we care about what's going on in the world.
Right.
Okay, how to get involved. This is where we're going to turn the time over to Eva. I mentioned Eva as a Director of Communications, so Eva, you take it.
Welcome, Eva.
Oh, do you hear me okay?
Give some love for Eva. Yeah, love for Eva. Come on.
Hi guys.
Yeah.
How y'all doing? You're great. I promise I am a human in real life, although I might look like a robot. I am not an AI. I am too human, like all of you. So before I start, I don't want to take up too much time so we can hear from you. I want to get a sense of who in this room is working on their own projects right now in VR, AR. Give me some hearts. That means you. And you could be at any point in the, wow. Okay,
wow,
awesome.
That's amazing. Look at that. That's loads
so
of people.
Cool. See, these are our speakers then.
Yeah.
You guys
awesome.
are deputized.
Yep. And now you're all speakers. And how many of you might not be working on projects right now, but you want to get involved, you want to learn more, you maybe have ideas? Give me some hearts. Cool. Great.
All right.
That's so cool.
And so collaboration happening here.
Yeah.
Can we get the next slide, please, Donna? Thank you. Cool. Okay. So yeah, really, I mean, we talked a lot about ourselves today, but the society is nothing without the community, right? And that's you, and then that's the folks that are just starting, folks that are already working on things. We want to hear from you, and we want to support you the best way. So the best way for you to get involved and to learn more about what we've been talking about is to join the Virtual World Society. And the membership is free. All you have to do is go online to virtualworldsociety.org, and we can probably send that link later, right? In Discord or something. And then you can join on the website, and from there, that's where you'll find out about future events that we're doing, the projects we're working on. You can subscribe to our newsletter to find out more about events and job opportunities and all that jazz. And yeah, so right here, yep. Oh, maybe next slide. It'll come up in a second.
Yeah, it can take a bit sometimes. Next slide. Yeah.
Beautiful space slides. By the way, shout out to our teammate Haley who made these slides. That's really cool. Give her some love. Yeah.
Definitely love
for
Haley.
My emojis. Woo. Okay, so yeah, I'll just be really quick. So the newsletter, we're trying to revamp that quite a bit. We know that it's kind of, a weird time in the world right now, but we don't want you to feel alone. We want to be there for you, and we'll try our best to find resources that can support you during these times, job opportunities. We'll let you know about these future firesides and how you can get involved. What else? And yeah, I mean, for the folks that said that you're interested in working on projects, I wanted to help you find those projects. And so if there are any projects today that you're interested in volunteering for or helping out, let us know. We'd love to hear how you want in this space. And we want to be the friends that help you out and help you get started. So don't hesitate to reach out to us. We're friendly people. We're humans. Or robots. And yeah, we want to support you. Go again to virtualworldsociety.org to learn more, and then you can join from there. And thank you all for being here. You all look so cool. We're in this virtual space together. How cool!
How cool! Some
yeah.
love.
All right, and I
Fantastic.
think that's it. I'll scoot on over here. How do I get off the stage?
Thank you, Eva.
Thanks, Eva. Isn't she wonderful?
Thank you.
Director of Communications. And back in the back, we actually have Ann Bonner, who is our Director of Development. And as you can see her waving her hand back in the back. And wonderful to have her with us and working with us on the fundraising for the society. Okay, next slide. And I think this is it. We're going to be turning the time over to you. I want to thank you so much for coming this first meeting. It's a historical meeting, certainly for us. And it gives us a chance to announce our betrothal and to begin this journey together. And again, in another 2 weeks, we'll be doing it again. And next week, next 2 weeks, we'll be talking about the manifesto, and especially the part that really is a big deal to us is we don't want to do any harm. We're playing with fire, and we want to talk about that, to make sure that we are observant and respectful for this fire that we have in our hands. Okay, so thanks so much for coming. And now what we'd like to do is turn it over to you and for any questions that you might have about maybe something that you're doing, or what do you think the Virtual World Society should be doing right now? And you're going to take over sort of with that, Daniel, is that right?
That's exactly right, Tom. So let me just explain to them how it works, and then we can start taking questions. Okay, some of you have been here before, and you will know that at this point, you will be able to look down and click the raise hand function if you have a question. So if you have a specific question you'd like to Tom or Eva or any of the speakers or myself, click the raise hand function. That will allow me to switch your individual microphones free so everybody can hear you, give you megaphone, and we're going to do. So I've got one question to come in. We're going to start with this person here. Let me see, participation. A question from Carlos. Carlos, you should have microphone now. Where's Carlos? Can you show us where you are? Where is Carlos?
There's Carlos.
Oh, right in the front here. And do you want to try speaking? Can I hear you? Oh, wait a second, sorry. Okay, why is that? I'm not able to untoggle mute all at the moment. Now it's free. Can we see Carlos? Okay, Carlos, can you test your mic quickly? Fantastic, lovely. Carlos, what's your question?
So my question was going to be, actually, I was going to sing to you happy birthday in Spanish, but because of the time and for...
Oh, thank you, Carlos.
I'll just say feliz cumpleaños y muchos años más, which means many more years. My question goes to anybody that wants to chime in on this, and basically is, everybody's now jumping over to Zoom for teaching. I'm an educator here in Texas, and I'm going to start a class in using Zoom. But I'm curious, because you guys are so involved with all of this education, better platform that other than AltSpace, which also is interesting, but one that any student can get to be able to teach my class. That's the question.
Okay, very good. And hopefully everyone was able to hear Carlos's question.
Some people weren't. So the question was, Carlos is an educator, and in this situation, he's a lot of people are using Zoom, but he likes the idea of virtual reality. And are there any other platforms are able to do learning experiences than just Zoom? I think that was the question.
Well, that's a very good question, because can
I just say that For some reason, there's a bit of a technical problem, and we're not hearing the questions, so we're going to repeat them so everybody hears them, okay? Thank you, Carlos.
Excellent.
All right.
Yes, so
Do you wanna-
very
do you
good
wanna answer
question.
that,
How
Tom?
many of you are in the same situation where you're teaching classes using online platforms like Zoom? Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're not by yourself, and me included, Carlos. I'm doing the same thing with Zoom. As a matter of fact, I will be teaching again tomorrow in Zoom, and that's because that's what the university has set up for me to use. The real problem is the platform is what is the technology that students have. And to really take advantage of any alt space or engage or whatever, you have to have the technology to really do these. And but it's not necessarily hard in order to show people around and in a 2D version of a 3D world. And of course, limited in doing that with Zoom.
Right.
And I think we're not there yet. You can do streaming, of course, in alt space. But one of the things that can be done is if you have content that you can send to your, 360 content you can send to your, that's appropriate, then they can actually view their own.
Right.
Not something you can do in real time with.
Yeah.
But, do you have any?
Yeah, absolutely.
that?
So I agree that. Say that again. On the other stage, they didn't hear it. Tom, can you check that you're on air?
I am on air. Yeah.
Okay, then I think that's all we can do. But to answer your question, I agree that we're not quite there yet at scale. But if you want to go beyond Zoom, you have to consider accessibility. So Zoom is good because everybody can access, but you have to think, will all my students be able to join? Altspace would be good. You have to have a you have to have a PC. It's an extra challenge to do it on Mac version. So happy if you wanted to join our server. There's a lot of discussion about exactly those things, and you ask those questions, you get a lot of feedback and share their ideas with you there if you want. But thank you for the question. I think we'll take them because there's a lot coming in. We've got 7 more. Thank you for that. Okay, let's say next up is Joshua. Okay, Joshua, you should have your mic. Where are you?
Yes,
Give us
hello.
some hearts or let us know where you are.
Hi, can you all hear me?
Yeah, and the orange Parker. There you go. Joshua, what's your question?
Okay, so I teach a lot of these classes on Zoom. I have a VR component teaching public speaking and presentation skills and sales training, business English, all utilizing VR. So my clients have access to it already. That is the biggest challenge we have, is that people can be able to gain it. Now I do it through Oculus Quest and Oculus Go, of course, as those platforms. Not most people have a high-end PC. So that's a very interesting notion about how we can get more people involved. I think with this crisis that we're going through now, just because of necessity, people are going to start exploring new options and ways that they can better communicate. And reality is going to offer some extraordinary, engaging ways. I think that it's for us to be able to do that. Is there a way we can all connect with each other in a way where, like on LinkedIn or other kinds of, I noticed that you have a LinkedIn group up there.
Tom?
Yes, absolutely. I think that's one of the objectives that we want to do, is provide this kind of a community connection. And we do have a Discord channel. Was that up on the slide, Eva? Did we have the Discord?
I'm not sure it was. Let's see if we can bring it up later.
If you join online on the Virtual World Society website, you'll be given a link to join the Discord, and I'm happy to help you get there.
Okay,
Great, thank you.
So just a
Do you have
couple
your
more.
microphone on? Do you have your microphone on?
I do.
Eva?
Can you hear me?
All right. Let me just ask a quick question. Give me some claps if you don't know Discord. Just very quickly, please. If you don't know Discord, because there's still quite a few people who don't. Oh, less than I thought. Okay, all right, that's fine. So Discord is a social platform where people can join in different groups, and it's becoming very popular. It's been popular for a while, but it's kind of Facebook, but not Facebook. It's just where communities can thrive and grow. So feel free to join us there. You can find the information on the Virtual World Society website, or when you join, and also on the Educators in VR website, you'll find it there. Okay.
Yes, very good.
All right,
question,
next
though.
question.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
lovely. Next question then. We've got, who have we got? We've got Jackie. Where are you, Jackie? Let me see.
Wait,
Jackie from the Virtual World Society.
not me.
Okay. Oh, okay.
No.
That was maybe a mistake. We'll go to the next one
Sure
then.
didn't mean to.
All
sorry.
right. All right. Dex Yoshi. Where's Dex Yoshi? Show us where you are. Dex Yoshi. Had a question from Dex Yoshi? If not, I'll jump and you question to the back again. All right. Well, we'll go to the next. Yeah, do we have? I'm not seeing Dex Yoshi anyway. Okay, well, Yoshi, if you do have a question, raise your hand again and I'll come back to you. Then we have Hassan. I think we saw Hassan earlier. Where's Hassan? He was Turkey, if I'm not mistaken. Where is it, Hassan? Let us know where you are. Or it's interesting.
Maybe I had to go to bed.
Another one. Yeah, another phantom question. Okay, if I skip you and you do have a question, just raise your hand again and you'll join. All right, coming over to Raven. Where do we have Raven? Raven, and where are you? And where's your question? Raven Alchemy there. Okay. You should have a microphone now, Raven.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
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 Okay, great. Oh, this is all so exciting. Thank you so much for being betrothed. My question is in line with all the been asking about sort of like the VR. So, when you're working with a new technology or you're an explorer, they say like there be dragons, right? So what are the dragons that need to be slightest roadblocks that we sort of need to work our way as a community so that we can this VR thing we're all trying to do accessible and like position it in the way that we know it can be to change our world?
Yeah, very good question. Thank you for that.
Lovely.
Certainly, especially for those people who have never experienced VR, it can be really intimidating, really exciting as well. And really is that you don't want them to get a bad experience to begin with.
Yeah.
Unless you're using good technology, they'll have a bad experience. And the thing we have to understand is we are so tightly coupling the technology to the human in VR to understand how basically our visual and psychomotor capabilities work, so that we do this with something that is good. And the worst thing is put a person in a roller coaster ride the first time, and they get sick. Because VR, if we don't understand it, can really make people sick, because what happens is we get these disconnects between visual cues and vestibular. And when that happens, normally the body thinks, oh, it's taken some poison. And this person has to bark to get it out of the system. And so we have understood this whole phenomenon, 20, 30 years. Is not being appreciated, I think, in this new age. Everybody thinks just plunk on a helmet and get it, and then you're a magic. That's not the case. You have to be about the content and be careful about the hard technology. And
I agree.
one other thing is that we have this interpupillary distance issue. Everybody, when you put on a headset, will have the same interpupillary distance, but all the headsets hopefully are made so you can adjust that. But you have to get that adjustment done right. And so these are things that we'll lay out at the next fireside.
Yeah.
But that is make sure that the channel that getting to the eye and it is really mapped appropriate, because we don't want people to get sick or have headaches.
Yeah.
Now, after that, curating the content so that people get acclimatized. It's not the kind of thing where you just want to jump in automatically you're an instant expert. Have basically an orientation. And we found this when we were working with the school kids, that we spend some time giving them a chance to play virtual worlds, where we are sort of choreographing the play, and used to it, and then after that they can get to some more serious things. It's not like you want to jump in and right away. It's hard, you need to practice some first before you know. So did that answer your question? I mean,
Can I add something on that point as well?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, sure. Great question, and I fully agree with Tom. So caution and play in equal measures, but I want a kind of perspective on that, and that is that 2020 seems to be becoming the year of social VR in the car. And I think that I'm really excited about that. For looking forward, something I really want to get right is make sure that VR stays open and we democratize VR, so that it's not enough that VR is just good for us industrialized companies who can afford headsets. We need to use our privilege to reach those people who don't yet have it. That's one thing. And the other thing is that if there's one amazing, let's call it a killer app for VR, it's collaboration. That gives us the opportunity to become a family, a village. That there's a saying, it takes a village to raise a kid. And I think it takes our community to raise VR and give it a heart and a conscience. That's why I'm so excited about your values, Tom. Now is the time for us as a community to stand strong with values, to indicate to the industry that, great, you can build these games, but enough shoot 'em up games by now, in my opinion. If that's your thing, go for it. But give us depth, give us meaning, give us connection. Make that possible for us. That's what I want to say.
Hear, hear. Fantastic.
Hear, hear. All right.
Okay.
Lovely. Tom, you've got lots more questions coming. We're going to go to the next one. Thank you for that, Raven. Next up, we have Darcy Gerb. Darcy, you should have a microphone. Give us some hearts. Let us know where you are, Darcy. Where are you at?
Darcy.
Oh, in the green there. Okay, lovely. Darcy, what's your question?
Can you hear me?
Hi.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I've just begun a project with the technical team and art curators, and we're looking to do VR art exhibition along with attendance and conferences and things like that. And some of the questions that have started coming up: how do we know what percentage or what number of people will have VR headsets? How do we get some idea? Because we're pretty sure we're going to do a hybrid so that people can look at a version as well as a VR version. The other issue is VR headsets and the availability. Are there opportunities, especially in the not-for-profit and educational area, to get spells for people who want to attend?
Going a bit quiet there.
I'm sorry.
Are you near your microphone?
I think so. How would I know?
Or is it a
I can make
technical thing on our side? You were asking if there's a possibility to get special deals as education institutions, or no, we heard that much. Okay, let's try and answer that question.
And also,
so how can we know the ratio of people? Sorry, darling you so much now. Can we answer the question as far as we heard?
Sure.
And then maybe come back to you. So the first part of how can we find out how many people experiences in which devices? Second is, are there opportunities for special deals on the prices of the headsets? Do you want to answer that?
You bet. Well, certainly, Darcy, that the first answer to the first question is, I think, take your you're basically the people that would be interested and do a survey to find out as much as possible
Good question.
what
Yeah, good
you
idea.
can expect from them, technologies they have used. It'd be fairly easy to do, I would think. In terms of the technology, I would use that survey, especially if you have a good number, a robust number, and participants in this, and you ask for some support. Support may come from, the manufacturers. The one that's going to be the easiest to get would be the Oculus Go, or for people to use a sunboard headset, which I don't recommend, but that's something that they can use with their phones. The probably better than the cardboard headsets that actually do it in 2D, because you can't get it right with
I have all of them.
cardboard. But Oculus is doing been generous to me and the projects we've been doing, the research projects we've been doing, and again, it's who you know, and getting the identification of a person who's now on your side can help that to happen. And it never hurts to ask, but you want to be armed with the impact, and you can get it to end in your survey to begin with.
Okay, thank you.
Excellent. Okay, thank you very much. Right, we've still got questions. I'm just going to make a quick announcement. So obviously there's a lot of interest in you and your team and in this project. We're going to keep going. I know it's a little past the hour, but we're going to just keep going. Stay and welcome, and we've got lots more questions coming. Here we go. Thank you, Doug. Question from Maxwell. Maxwell, let us know where you are. Where are you, Maxwell?
Right here. Hi.
In the blue shirt at the front. Excellent. What's your question?
First off, Tom, I had actually added you yesterday, I believe, on LinkedIn. So thank you for accepting my request. So I am a professor myself in Connecticut in the United States, and one issue that we ran into, which I'm very curious to hear from the experts, from you guys, is that the students were supposed to come in before the pandemic happened about the cameras, and this is something that is a little bit difficult to do through Zoom. We managed to make it work, but honestly, I was disappointed. I felt like the students didn't retain the information I wanted them to, and as a teacher, this was very heartbreaking for this to happen. And I think it's realistic to, for example, I was looking it up to create, for example, a 3D model of a camera and have students explore that 3D model of a camera using VR, lessons like that, or in engineering, or in just things to get their hands on the materials. Do you think that's realistic? Would it be realistic and available to teachers in kind of a recent time frame?
Okay, very good question. It turns out that for anything that involves spatial learning of how things work, VR is beautiful for that. And even more so than what you'd have as the exploding diagram that you're showing in 2D. To be able to take apart and put it back together again with all its component parts, and actually slow down a light wave, basically a quantum of light, a photon, and show how the whole elements of the camera actually eventually the sensing element. And then what happens after that? What kind of things can be done certainly in VR, using Unity, using some other platforms to develop it. Now that's really the issue, and it's not that we know that works. As a matter of fact, the experience we've had in spatial learning and other engineering areas thrive. They never forget it. The problem is, of course, the content, and you have to build the content yourself if it doesn't exist. And that's actually tasked for the students. Get the students to do it, to build a camera in VR. With some of the platforms that are out there, they could do that. Now, it may be crude, they'll learn a lot more by actually building them themselves. You're showing them the model, even though they'll learn a lot from that too. But one thing about is you'll never forget. And so, yes, that would be my recommendation.
Which goes both ways. Never forgetting it. Make sure
That's
they're
right.
good experiences.
Yeah,
If you
that's right.
can
It's got to
remember,
be
that's
right.
right.
You got to be
You want to
correct.
make
You
them
don't
good.
want them to have bad science in VR.
Exactly. Okay, thank you for that question.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mhm.
All right. Next up, we've got Buddy. And if I'm not mistaken, you're the guy whose mom knitted. Where are you?
Yeah.
Over
It's
here?
In the
actually
green? Yeah.
my
front and right
grandmother.
green.
Actually, my grandmother.
Your grandmother, right?
So Tom, so you've been in VR for 30 years. I'm just gonna put that out for about 30 years.
54 years.
Oh Jesus,
Yeah.
man. I was wondering, has there been like a big project that you really want to do right about now in VR right now?
Oh,
That
gosh.
nobody's
What
heard
a
of your
question.
idea?
Great
What a
question.
beautiful question. Yes, absolutely. I am really keen to build a super cockpit for the mind.
A
And
super
my
cockpit for
super
the
cockpit,
mind.
you saw my Darth Vader helmet. This is a super cockpit for the mind, where we use some amazing technology that lets us measure, for example, flow state
Wow.
and other physiological states, and use our peripheral retina. A number of these new technologies that we have now with the sensing side. Actually, my background's in photonics and electro-optics and things like that, and there's just wonderful things happening in that. Well, I would love to combine those together into a super cockpit for the mind. We would call a mind bubble generator, an epiphany and these kind of things that would help us along with some AI technology as we go into this virtual space where we go into a hyper learning mode.
Oh, man.
And we can create and harvest all these capabilities we have. We have so much power as humans. We're not even using a fraction of it. And I believe that with a supercock for the mind, which is going into virtual reality with these kinds of capabilities, we can do those kinds of things. And that's really what, like, for my next 5 years to be concentrating on.
Wow.
Is working on the supercompactor for the mind.
I don't know about you
Yeah.
guys, but I've got goosebumps and I'm grinning from ear to ear hearing this vision. Let's give Tom some love for that vision and let's help him make that happen. Because a super cockpit for the mind, holy moly, count me in, Tom. Fantastic. Yeah, I would too. Great question, buddy. Thank you very much.
You're
Wonderful.
the one that is going to use it. You're going to be
Yeah.
there. So
Your
how old
generation.
Are you now, buddy?
Mm-hmm.
How
old
old
are you?
buddy?
Oh, I'm 13.
You're 13.
Great.
Okay.
Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah.
Coming to a store near you soon, buddy. All
Well,
right.
actually, how would you like to join me working on that?
Actually,
Yes, the super cockpit for the mind.
I would love that.
Oh yeah, here we go.
All right.
Let's make that
Okay.
happen. All right.
Eva, sign him up. This is exactly what we want to do.
Fantastic.
My
Oh,
mother's
this,
gonna
this is going to
finally
be you got to keep over the next weeks and months. Just keep people informed of how that goes. That's a lovely
Oh,
story
absolutely.
right there. Fantastic.
And buddy, you need to. I understand you do interviews. And,
yeah, I do. I have a talk show every Saturday night.
Yeah. So sign me up for an interview. Walter. We talk more about the super cockpit for the mind.
Fantastic. That sounds like
Oh
a
my
title of a film,
God.
Buddy and the Super Cockpit for a Mind.
It would actually
Love
be a
it, love
cartoon.
it. Okay, wonderful.
Okay.
Oh, I got goosebumps from that. Fantastic question. Thank you. Let's go to the next one and make sure that Buddy gets hooked up with that through Eva. Who have we got? We've got Matthew. Matthew King of Light, I think. Matthew, you should be good to go. Let us know where you are. Matthew, are you in this room? I know there's a parallel room somewhere, but I'm not as Matthew on the bottom right here by engaged. You should have microphone, but I'm not hearing you, Matthew.
Yes.
I can see your mouth moving. but I'm not actually hearing you. Let me see if I come up close.
Testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing,
Can everyone hear me?
1, 2, 3.
Yes.
Yeah. When you're close, okay. Tell you what, I'm going to come close. Ask the question to me because I think the others can't hear you, and then I'll repeat it. So go, Matthew.
So, with the Virtual World Society being a nonprofit, what do you envision its role as a nonprofit? Do you kind of see it as like a tool into having concepts of social enterprise? I want to keep it more in that sense of that pre-C kind of concept.
Did you hear that, Tom?
I did hear that.
Okay.
Hopefully everyone heard that. It's about the nature of the Virtual World Society in terms of being a 501c3 charity, and do we want to I think that that's a very good question, by the way, insightful question. Let's face it, what we really want to be is the National Geographic Society of VR. We want to be the public broadcasting system of VR. We want to be the Peace Corps of VR. We want to do these things that go beyond what the industry does. We want to go out in the world, put boots on the ground, and actually help people. Now, it's not just VR, it's just technology across the board. And the technology of our age, and the artificial intelligence, the XR, the whole suite of XR, immersive computing, all these kinds of things. This is our toolkit. But the thing is, it's not the technology, it's the application of the technology that's most important. And especially applications that can lift humanity. And that's where we get into education and medicine and those kinds of things. And so our mission, of course, is to get it out there, get the technology out in the field to those homes that probably may not be able to afford it otherwise, and to level the playing field so everyone has a chance to have access. I mean, Nicholas Negroponte tried to do this with one laptop per kid, and it had some success, but we want to go way beyond that. We want to basically give everybody a chance to get access to these amazing worlds that they can go to and can learn from.
Can I add something?
That's what we're after, is trying to provide that kind of mechanism. Now, yes, there may be pieces of the Virtual World Society. In order for us to raise the money to do that, we may have to work on having a for-profit element to it, which you're allowed to do as a 501c3. But we also have our friends here in the educators in VR. So you said you want to.
Yeah, just about your vision with this, and I read something you wrote yesterday about, and it reminded me. You were saying that you want to do solve the real world problems. And it just happens that this tool can help. It's not particularly about the tool, it's about the problems first, but this tool has come along and is kind of coming of age. So this is the tool that is taking a lot of the focus. But I liked to be reminded of the fact that it's about the issues before the technology, right?
Yes. You know, VR is, the way VR has evolved, we've been in a push mode, haven't we? It's been where we've been building the technology, and we've been sort of pushing it onto society and on applications and things like that. What we need now is the pull. What do we need to solve? The problems that we need to solve. And yeah, virtual reality may be one of those tools, but certainly the needs should eventually inform the push. So the pull needs to inform the push. And it's this tension between the two. The pull of the applications, the push of the technology, and all this technological bag of tricks that we have, and how we marry those together to solve real problems.
Excellent. Love it. Yeah. Okay. All right. Thank you very much for that. We still have questions that are coming thick and fast here. Let's have a look. Thank you, Matthew. Next up is Stephen. Stephen, your mic should be free. Let us know where you are, Stephen. Where are you at?
Right here.
Yeah.
All right. So my question is, since we see things in 2D, how does VR make a difference?
Do we see things in 2D?
What do you mean? What do you mean by the question? That since we see things in 2D?
So we can perceive 3 dimensions, but our eyes only see things in 2 dimensions.
Okay, this is a subtle question. As it turns out, you're correct. Basically, we have our retina is basically is actually a screen. It's like a screen of sensors. And so of light sensors. And what happens is the light rays go in, and of course they convert the photons into electrochemical signals that go eventually to the visual cortex. And so if we had just one eye, we would only perceive things as 2-dimensional. Now, the thing is that there's a sensory side and a perception side. The sensory side, we have two 2D sensors. But when we combine those two in the brain, because there is a slight difference between these two images because of the separation of our interpupillary distance, we perceive this. There's a perceptual process going on that combines these signals that adds the 3rd dimension in it. So we're sensing in 2 dimensions, but we're perceiving in 3 dimensions because of binocular vision. So the problem with screens is that when we're looking at a screen, we don't have any perspective cues. There's no depth in the screen on the monitor. But when we're looking at the real world, there are differences in our parallax cues. There are 3-dimensional cues, different angles and things like that, and we're seeing these because of our interpupillary distance. But it turns out your 3D vision really sort of goes away at about 10 feet, even maybe less than that. So beyond 10 feet, you don't really see with 3 dimensions with binocular vision. You get the 3 dimensions then from parallax, the cues of how you move your head around that tells you what's in front and what's behind. So we use a combination of these, aerial perspective, lots of different cues for this. We use accommodative cues. I'll be talking about this actually in the next meeting, the next fireside in 2 weeks from today, a little bit more about that. But it's all about perception and not about sensation. Okay?
All right.
Does that help?
Yes.
Thank you very much. Excellent. I love when Tom starts speaking technical language. I always feel smarter after it. Thank you very much, Tom. All right. So next up, we've got Zero. Your mic should be on. Let us know where you are. Zero, where are you? Give us some hearts. Zero in this room, anywhere?
Yeah.
Yeah, give us some hearts or shake your hands so we know where you are. Oh, on the side there. Okay, side of the stairs to my left.
Oh, here we are. Okay.
That's okay, good.
Sorry,
all right.
Quick technical question.
Sure.
I just had my drivers updated on the Rift. I don't know if anybody else is experiencing this, but I can't see the slideshow, so I'm just wondering if that'll be posted on the website later.
Oh, I see. Will you be sharing the slideshow?
Yes.
Perfect.
Okay.
Either you have that.
That's my question.
Thank you. That will probably be on Virtual World Society website, and if you want to share that with us, we can make it available on our website as well.
We'll do it on both places. Yes.
Okay.
We'll do it in both places.
Okay. Excellent.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you. Lovely. Okay. Next question. Back to Joshua. So we had Joshua. Another question from Joshua. Let us know again where you are.
Oh, no, I didn't have a question.
Okay, so that happens sometimes. Okay.
That's okay.
You get a free question. No, joking. Okay, and so at the moment, the last question now is Jean. So, Jean, let us know where you are. Were you at the front, right at the front in the orange part, right there? Okay. You have a question, Jean?
Okay. Tom alluded to this when talking about binocular vision. We fuse the two images together and detect. And you also said when you move your head, and I think it's even with one eye, just moving through space, or feeling like you're moving through space, gives you the sense of space. I mean, you feel it in your body, you feel it. It's a very powerful feeling, and it's coordinated with your vision. You learn how space works through your body, through one eye, and then hopefully with two eyes. So I just wanted to add that. It's not a question.
No. Well, that's a very good point. As a matter of fact, in World War II, there were a number of, at least this is maybe an urban myth, but there were actually a fighter pilot squadron that were actually blind in one eye, and that they did fine. And that because of that, they used these other cues. And of course, as I mentioned, the binocular cues really you aren't using beyond a certain distance away, because the interpupillary distance so small relative to how far an object might be, then you don't lose binocular vision. You use these other cues, the aerial perspective and the parallax cues. But if you're moving, you're right. If you're moving, you get 3D with one eye closed. And you get a sense of the 3D nature of these things.
I'd like to just add, the industry tried to push 3D television about 10 years ago, and it was a great failure because entertainment didn't really, storytelling, et cetera, it didn't really need that third dimension to make that much of a difference for people to put weird things on their heads. So the hope, I think, is that this new world where you can actually move around is going to provide more powerful ways to experience things.
Very good point. And interact. Not only move around, but you can actually interact with the objects.
Exactly.
And walk around them and see them from different angles and things like that. And of course, that's what you couldn't do with even 3D on a TV screen or a movie screen.
Lovely. Okay. Fantastic. I can see you're going to have to come back, Tom. And oh no, he's going to be back. We got him back every 2 weeks now. Fantastic.
That's right. Every 2 weeks we're going to have, and we're going to have others. I mean, I'm just one of the guys, and we're going to have a bunch of wonderful people coming in, and the advisors and the board of directors and other people. I mean, if you really want to spend some time in a dialogue on the stage, we could figure that out too.
Yes, absolutely. Wonderful. So just before I take the next question, we've got 2 more questions lined up, and I think after that we're probably going to call it a day, sad as that is. And then before we actually finish, we'll kind of close, do a bit of a closing, maybe a dance or something like that, Tom. Figure something out. So I have one more question here from Naila, I think. Naila, and if I remember, you're from Bahrain. You should have a microphone now.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
In the front here, Naila. Yes. Lovely shirt you're wearing.
Thank you so much. I just wanted to first thank you so much on this wonderful talk, and I am a very, very big fan. And also, I wanted to ask you, in your amazing career, 50 years of working with virtual reality, what is your experience, if you had any experience, with archaeologists?
Very good question.
I only ask this because I'm currently I've been a VR artist since 2017, and my hope is to bring archaeological sites into virtual reality and have people be able to experience these worlds, and also sites that do not exist.
Wow, we should probably chat a little bit offline about this, but yes, we have done quite a bit of work with archaeology. As a matter of fact, we actually did a project with the Seattle Art Museum that had to do with the digs in Sichuan, China, the terracotta soldiers and things like that. You remember the terracotta soldiers? And what we did was the museum actually had a lot of the artifacts that actually were broken bronze castings that were underneath the terracotta soldiers. And so they're older than the terracotta soldier. And so there were all these fragments, these huge statues, 12-foot high bronze statues, and they'd all been broken up. And so they wanted to reassemble them. And then, of course, they shipped it over to the Seattle Art Museum as one of their rounds of the exhibit. But part of the thing we did was we wanted to give the patrons there at Seattle Art Museum the experience of being on an archaeological dig. And what they would do is actually, they would brush away virtual dirt, and they would uncover these objects, and they'd put the objects aside, and then once they got done with these objects, they start putting them together like a puzzle. Then all of a sudden the statue, when they got enough of the pieces together, the statue formed, these 12-foot high bronze things, and they were able to see it. So, and the problem was they couldn't get people out of the basement where they were doing that to go see the real thing, you know. So, and especially the kids said, I don't want to go up there. This is more fun than doing that. So, yeah.
Can I add to that
one
as well?
example.
Yeah, there's a technology called photogrammetry where you take a lot of pictures. You know this, right? So if you go to Sketchfab, there's actually a huge repository on Sketchfab of kind of artifacts and also archaeological sites, I think. And it's becoming a bit of an ongoing thing where people are sharing their photogrammetric scans of different sites that you can load into the art.
Yeah, that is going to be my next plan, because I didn't find anything that had to do with the ancient city of Dilmun, which is now modern day Bahrain, and that's something that I'm currently planning on doing.
Fantastic.
And I feel like it's an immersive way for kids to learn about ancient cities that don't exist anymore.
Definitely. They made an app of ancient Rome, which was fully computer generated, but that's very popular on, I think, the Quest or Steam, something like that. Wonderful. Great idea. I
Thank you so much.
Look forward to hearing more from you, Nayla, on that project. All right, well,
Thank you.
We've got some more questions coming in, but unfortunately, I think we're going to call it there, guys. Remember, Tom and the team are coming back in 2 weeks, so save up your questions for next time. Now, I think, Tom, might be a nice idea to get the team up on stage, everybody together. What do you think?
Sure. Let's get all the gang here.
All right. Matt, you want to come up front? Anne, you're going to come up front as well for this? Lovely. There you go. We got Jackie there. Ava, come on in. Where's Ava? Where's Ava? Ava was here. Did she jump out?
Yeah.
Maybe. All right. Well, Ava, if you can hear us, if you're somewhere in the back, come on front. All right, I'm gonna go at the front here. And I'm gonna take
Annie still here?
I think Annie was here a minute ago.
Oh, there's Annie. Okay, there's.
Yeah, Annie, make sure you switch your megaphone on if you want us to hear you. And just get together a little bit close, guys. I'm gonna take a nice selfie from the front here for a moment.
Okay. There's Matt.
Okay, so where are we? Okay, nice and close together in front of the the virtual
we have to go over
society.
here, Matt. Okay.
There you go.
There we go.
There you go. Okay.
Just
Lovely.
pass
Okay.
through that.
One, 2, 3. Fantastic. And then I'm going to jump up on stage and we're going to do it the other way around. We're going to, right. And this time round, we're going to, all right. Can you stand at the front of the stage, the 4 of you? I'm going to stand behind you. If you can move to the front of the stage, everybody. Lovely. Okay. And then, perfect. Okay, spread out nice. A bit further forward there, Tom. Lovely.
Okay.
Matt and you spread out a little bit. And then I'm going to ask everybody in the room to give lots of love and emojis. Tom, you want to turn around? Okay. And another one. Yeah, lots of love, everybody. Wonderful. Looking good. Looking good, guys. Wonderful. Got it. Perfect. Okay. I think with that, let's give it up. Big round of applause for Tom and Matt and Jackie and Ava and Anne and the whole team that at Virtual Society.
Love you guys.
Big welcome to the metaverse, guys. Looking forward to seeing you already next time in 2 weeks. So excited of your vision. So excited to be married with you guys here. Group hug, come on, group hug, guys. Matt, come on in. Jackie, do you do group hugs? Come on. All right, here we go.
Jackie.
Lovely. There you go. Group hug. Lovely. All right. Wonderful. Thank you so much for the work you're doing. And this is only the beginning of your next journey here in VR. So one more time, guys. Big round of applause for everybody.
Thank you,
Thank
guys.
you so much.